We're here with another special guest. A special guest, man. You know what we got going on, guys. Guys, we have Miguel Hernandez.
Yeah.
Right? I had to make sure I said it right. He is the owner of Real Tacos. And if you are in Atlanta or been to Atlanta, you know exactly what and where those Real Tacos are.
Like, keep in mind,
Yeah.
some of the common denominators of people that are not good at sales is they have low confidence, they're not structured, they don't know how to learn something, a system, right? Which to me, the word system means save yourself time, energy, and money, right? So if you don't know how to use a system, you're not coachable. A true entrepreneur reinvents themselves every 5 years. So if I look back at my life, from 19 to 24, I did something. From 24 to 29, I did another thing. And then right around 29, 30, I did another thing. I'm like, oh, and now I'm starting to see patterns. Because I don't see the point of starting a restaurant from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, look, the success rate of opening up your own spot and making it past 5 years, and these aren't my numbers. This is the National Restaurant Association. These are people that went to school, they study these numbers, they took a look at how many restaurants open up every year, how many close every year. They say you have a 20% chance of making it past 5 years. COVID 2019, it did $1.2 million. It's best year.
Was it with one location?
They only had one location.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't a second or third or fifth one.
Okay.
And last month we did $2 million in sales. Well, we kissed almost 2 million, you know?
Well, you're an entrepreneur, but it's like you're an entrepreneur. If it's already in place, you could actually run it up to the moon.
I'm lazy smart.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lazy enough to know that if I don't want to do certain things, I just follow the system.
Right.
And I just teach other people the system. And then I take myself out of the equation, and you let the system run itself.
Hey guys, welcome back to a whole nother episode of On the Porch. You know you're here with your boy, Mr. Dot Mindset. Now guys, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, go off to other platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever that is. Leave us 5 stars, say something nice, so we continue just getting this information out to other individuals. And guys, we got something else. We hear a lot of people want to continue. We got a lot of supporters, people that want to support us. Guys, just leave us a super chat, guys. We open that up now. Leave us a super chat, whatever you feel like you want to support us with. Go ahead and do that. We greatly appreciate it. BJ.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Hey, we back here on the porch, man, with another episode. Like I said, we're going up, bigger and better every time. Y'all can follow me at _BJ Real. Like we say, guys, the podcast is not hard to find, man. We're on all platforms. We're putting it right out in your face every week. We drop on Tuesdays, guys. But we're here with another special guest.
A special guest, man. You know what we got going on, guys. We always get somebody here that is really killing it in their space. And this is no different from any other time. Guys, we have Miguel Hernandez.
Yeah.
Right? I had to make sure I said it right. Miguel Hernandez, guys. He is the owner of Real Tacos. And if you are in Atlanta or been to Atlanta, you know exactly what and where those Real Tacos are. So, Miguel, introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. I'm actually one of the co-owners of Real Tacos.
Oh, yep.
My business partner, Damien Otero, is the guy that we took over Real Tacos in 2021. So him and I, we've been at this since day one. To this day, we still work side by side. I talk to this guy 30 times a day. My day starts by calling him, and my day ends by getting off the phone with him. So without him, we wouldn't have been able to build this, what I like to consider a brand now. You know, in Atlanta, it's definitely a staple. So from day one, that was always the goal, is create something for Atlanta, create something for people just like us, you know, where we could come in, have some good food, have some good drinks, but more than anything else, just like have a place that we can call home, you know, just to vibe out.
Man, I got it. So how did you even get started in the restaurant business? How did you?
Well, I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to pay my bills. So before this, I was doing music. So I was a DJ, producer, engineer. So I got my foothold in music, and that's when I came to Atlanta. So I'll backtrack. I got here in 2016, and I decided to just do something different. You know, and I had a previous business that I got rid of. And I had that from the age of 19 to 24 to 25.
What was it?
A direct sales company. So it was like, direct to consumer. So, if anybody's ever done door-to-door sales, that's how I started off. Okay. There you go.
Me.
So started off doing door-to-door sales, selling telecommunication. So, AT&T, Uverse, that's way before fiber optic cable. There was satellite. So 10, 12 years ago, satellite was like the new thing.
Yeah.
So you had DirecTV, you had DirecTV, you had a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
So you were just basically, it was just knocking on a door, and that they're probably gonna say no, or get out of my face, or I'm gonna call the cops, or something, right? And you had to ignore the fact that when you walked into the neighborhood, it said no soliciting. No. You're like, okay.
I got a funny story about that. I used to go there. I used to be like, they'd be like, "Do you just see the sign in the beginning?" I'm like, "What? No solar side?" And I can't read.
Yeah,
I used to say it all the time.
Yeah, we were brainwashed in a very good way. We were taught
Yeah.
that no means next opportunity.
Yeah.
So a no is not no, I don't want you. No, I don't like your face. No, you smell. It just means you got to play the law of averages, right? You talk to 10 doors, 9 are gonna say no. You just need that one, and that one you get, you got to upsell, and you got to squeeze as much as you can, and you got ready to take 9 no's to the face. And when you're doing door-to-door sales and you're doing residential, you're probably gonna get chased by a dog a few times. So you got to be able to. And keep in mind, we're doing this in a full suit.
Where your running shoes?
There is no running shoes. Like, it doesn't go with the fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got those Cole Haans, or you got those John Maddens from Ross.
Yeah.
And you got to outrun the pit bull.
Yeah, and that's how it was. I remember we used to have tactics like this, like just if you bend down and act like you're trying to tie your shoe, they'll stop chasing you.
Yeah.
They used to have
Does that actually work though?
I don't know.
Because I know when we go on
I never tried it.
When we go on appointments for real estate lately, we've been running into more dogs lately than me and Mike. We do jiu-jitsu, so we just be standing there ready. We're like, okay,
We'll be
it's
ready.
gonna be that day.
It's gonna be that day.
Yeah.
So I got you. So you was doing you wasn't doing. You owned the company.
Well, I started off as a sales rep,
And then you moved
eventually
up.
I built my team. I learned how to manage people at the age of 19, 20. So when I was 21, I got the opportunity to work directly with the company, and then take over my own territory.
Yep.
So we had non-compete clauses to where nobody else could sell that, right? They
Yep.
couldn't sell DirecTV, and if they did, I would find them.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
And I've definitely went through that whole thing where you start as a salesman, then you go to a team leader, then you go to a manager.
Yeah.
I remember the whole story because I was
Yeah,
literally about to leave. Before I left school to do real estate, I was about to leave school to just keep doing that because I was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I was
That
doing
also
pretty good.
means to get to that position, you had to be pretty good at it. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you say?
Well, eventually you do have to get decent at it. I guess good enough to be able to teach other people, because you can't manage something you don't even have an idea of, right?
Yeah, right.
So you can't teach people how to do sales if you can't even sell something yourself.
It's true.
So were you a natural at it, or was it like
No,
something
no,
that
no.
you learned over time?
It was a
like,
constant
gotta say?
progression. It was like learning how to communicate with people, learning how to maintain your attitude, learning how to just walk into a room and just light the place up.
Yeah.
And that's something that either sometimes people are born with it. I wasn't born with it. I had to learn it. I think that every single time that somebody told me no, I got better at taking rejection.
Yep.
Every single time that I didn't upsell, I learned that it was just a matter of just asking. Like if you never ask, the answer is always going to be no.
For sure.
So you got to ask people.
That-
So I
that's-
learned
I
these
think
things.
that's why people. I feel like that's why people are so scared to get into sales and stuff, because they think it's like something you're born with, but it's rather like something that you like. It's a skill that you learn over time.
Yeah, I heard this video. It was Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx said that in order to get the equivalent of a 4-year communication degree, go knock on doors for 2 years. That's one thing he did, because when you walk into a rehearsal, right? He was talking about in his early acting days, he had to walk in and just light a room.
Yeah.
And the way that he learned how to do that was by selling vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
Just going in there, hi, how are you? I don't want you. No, you do want this, right?
Yeah.
When you're trying to get that role, when you're trying to get that part, you have 3 seconds. You got 3 seconds to let people know who you are, and you're there, to mean business. It's in the animal kingdom. I think they said a leopard within like point something of a second knows whether it's gonna go out there and kill something that's gonna be lunch, or whether it's something that's gonna kill it.
Right.
So you got to be quick to react,
Yeah.
right? So you got to identify whether something's a threat or whether something is lunch. So when you see an opportunity, sometimes in the business world, you got to be able to use your gut instinct, but also have that awareness. Okay, this is either a waste of time, or this is an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't learn that until it's too late.
Exactly.
So-
And that's definitely what we've been kind of dealing with now, just starting to realize what needs more of my time. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that
Yeah.
people just need to learn. So I guess you say you did that from the age of 19.
19 to like 24, and then 24, I did my thing. I ran a couple states. At my peak, I had like 500 people working under me.
Oh, okay.
We had structure managers. And, I just kind of, I'm a firm believer of the 80-20 rule. in order to be an efficient manager, you got to learn the art of delegation.
Right.
Right. So you hand off responsibility, and maybe people aren't going to do it to the best of your ability, but they're going to do it to the best of their ability.
Right.
So if you can squeeze 80% out of them, and you can learn how to manage those top performers, spend 80% of your time with your top 20% of your performers, and that's how you can effectively manage an organization. So I managed a couple different divisions, different products, different states, and then when I was like 24, I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm just not.
And I know you was making good money too.
Yeah, I was about to
That's
ask
good
you, like,
money.
what-
No, that
about how much money were you making around then? Like, when you were doing MLM?
Well, it wasn't MLM. The difference with MLM and doing direct sales is that MLM, you got to buy into the product.
Oh.
You have to invest your money, and then usually the way it works, it trickles down, and the more people you have buying into the, into the organization, the more money you make. Here, you went out and it was straight commission, and sometimes I had to pay people guarantees.
Really?
Saying, if you didn't sell anything, I got to pay you. Now, of course, I didn't want to keep you on payroll too much.
Yeah.
If you just suck at sales, you probably suck at a lot of things. Like, keep in mind, some of the common denominators of people that are not good at sales is they have low confidence, they're not structured, they don't know how to learn something, a system, right? Which to me, the word system means save yourself time, energy, and money, right? So if you don't know how to use a system, you're not coachable, right? So these people, you got to give them a shot, and if they're not cut out for it, I got to pay you at least $300 or $400 for your time. I'm trying to find the people that know how to make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week, going door to door and selling things, right?
Yep.
Those are the people, because at the end of the day, if they sell something, they make money, and the business makes money.
Right.
So I needed an army of people.
Yeah.
We did well. When I was 22, I bought my first house. I've always had an obsession with cars. I love cars.
Right.
Fast and the Furious changed my life.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, wow, you can do that to a car?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, that looks expensive. You gotta
for
make
sure.
money, right? So that's when, like, my priorities when I was like 10 years old, they changed. It was
Right.
like, less video games. Like, the world is your video game.
Right.
I don't want to drift on a video game. I'm trying to drift on my block.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'm
For
trying to do
sure.
it for real, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
You gotta need money.
yeah, so I was making money, but at the same time, I was spending it too. So I didn't respect money, and I think that's what happens with the young guys when they make money too early on.
What were you at your peak when you were doing that? Like
Making money?
Yeah, making money. Like what was that? Because the fact that you left there, it's like like what was it?
I remember my peak was this. I opened my mailbox and I saw my American Express credit card bill, and I almost threw up. It was $20,000
Oh wow.
for that month, and I was like 24. And then I opened it up. I remember like it was yesterday. I walk into the garage, and I had 2 cars inside the garage. One was a Maserati Grand Sport, which I love. It was red.
You were doing great.
And it was an X5. And then I had 4 more cars outside. And I was getting tickets from the HOA all the time because I had 1 car parked outside in the street, and you couldn't do that. So I had 7 cars. And I was at my peak.
Oh my
And I had a nice house next to a golf course, and I was like, damn, I was making money, but I was just on a whole different level of being broke. I was making enough to cover a $20,000 credit card bill.
Oh, so you're making enough to cover that a month. So that's pretty
I was
good.
like, yeah, but I was working 7 days a week just
All
to,
the time, yeah.
just to maintain my stuff. And I was like, damn, I don't want to do this.
So I know you were making money, and like you said, like a lot of opportunities, like when you're making that type of money, can like be presented to you. So what necessarily spoke to you and was like the restaurant business would be like ideal, like something to dive in after like making that type of money?
I think because then after that, then you became a DJ, right?
Yeah. So I was like going through some personal shit, and I ended up getting divorced, right? So I was like a mental wreck. So I remember I had some friends in Atlanta, and I told them, hey man, this is going on, that's going on. They're like, well look, you're great. You're a great communicator. You give a hell of a speech every time you open your mouth, even if you're not trying to.
Right.
People listen to you. Come and manage my business. And I said, okay, cool. And then I had a friend on the West Coast that said, hey, just come to San Jose. Come and do that. I said, okay. I have options.
Right.
I can either go to Atlanta or I can go to California. I was like, what weather do I like better? I'm like, California, come on. You can't beat
Can't
that.
deny that, yeah.
So I was like, all right, got it. And I started driving, and at this time I had already gotten rid of everything. The house, gotten rid of the cars. I was down to just 1 car. So I was like at baseline again. I was little to no bills. I had a garbage bag full of clothes. Had it in my trunk. Had a guitar. And I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm out of Texas. Did what I had to do.
Right.
And 2 hours in, I could have sworn I was going to California, and then I see Houston. And keep in mind, I was leaving San Antonio.
Yeah.
So if you go west to California, you start seeing like El Paso, X amount of miles. It was weird. 2 hours went by. I didn't see those signs. And next thing you know, I was in Houston. I was like, shit, I went the wrong way.
Right.
So I was like, well, I mean, I'm 10 hours away from Atlanta. I might as well just go to Atlanta.
Right.
So I called my friend. I was like, hey, bro, I'm on my way to Atlanta. He's like, you changed your mind? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Send me his
Went all
address.
the
And yeah, that's why I didn't go to San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up in Atlanta. And on the way here, it was like therapeutic. I was listening to music, and I probably cried the whole way here.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like, and I'll say this, like, I'm a man. I mean,
Yeah.
we cry too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And it was pretty. It's probably a funny sight to see, like, some 20-something-year-old guy in this Mercedes, looking nice, just like crying, like while he's putting gas, right? And I wouldn't stop crying. I was putting gas, click, boom, get back in the car, and keep crying.
They can't make too
Right.
much in front of you because it is a Mercedes now. So.
Yeah, it was a little C-class, a little baby Benz, you know.
For sure.
And then I got here and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try something different. For the first time in my life, I want to do something, and not do it because it's associated with making money. Like, I think that if I do something, I pick that, and if I've always found a way to make it happen, I'll find a way to make a living doing that.
Right.
And then when I got here, I was like, I really like music, and it just stayed in my head. And I decided I was going to be a DJ here with no experience, with no, I didn't know anything. I just didn't. I didn't know how to beat match. I didn't know how to transition. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to like rock a crowd. Nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Right.
I made a decision. I'm like, I think I like music, and I like it enough to where I'll figure it out.
Did you have some
And
rhythm?
then, oh yeah, come on. Come on. We all got rhythm. Come on.
Sometimes, and the thing that you just said, sometimes you just got to figure it out. Sometimes you got to just choose to do what you're going to do and just say, you know what, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So how was that figuring it out for you, right? Let's try to condense it, I guess, but let's try to see how did you figure it out and how did you end up to the point?
So
you're
I
at
had
now?
money saved up, right? A little bit of money from getting rid of everything, you know, and I was like, okay, I got enough money to find a way to sustain myself and my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I ended up renting an apartment in West Midtown. And I was like, okay, I heard that this is like the epicenter of music. We're talking about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
West
Yeah.
Midtown wasn't what it is now.
Right.
There was like 2 apartments, and it was a war zone out there,
Yeah.
right? And okay, so my rent's like $2,000 a month. I got X amount of money to live. I got to start making connections. Obviously, I got to start getting booked. I got to start, you know, and I was like, I need equipment. So that 50 grand was gone within 6 months.
Yeah.
But by the time that 50 grand went away, I had already started gotten booked. I started kind of getting my name out there. And then I, you know, started connecting with people, and one thing led to another. Started, you know, linking up with, you know, producers, engineers, without knowing anything. And I was just very upfront. Like, look, man, I've never produced, I've never engineered, but just teach me. And then, you know, one of my good friends, his name is Drummer Boy.
Oh, I
One-
know
one
that
of the
is.
one of the pioneers, one of the godfathers
I
of
know
trap
that.
music.
Yeah.
I ran into him in Guitar Center one time.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's Drummer Boy, you know? And I didn't want to be on like some groupie.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey man, I'm a DJ, this and that. He's like, oh, cool, give my number. And I was like, oh, your number? I was just gonna ask you for IG. He said, no, give my number. Got his number. And then he called me one day, and, you know, I ended up going to a studio with him and, you know, linking up with him. And then it was pretty cool because, you know, I have like my top 3 favorite albums of all time, right? One of them is Get Rich or Die Trying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the second one is TM101,
Mm.
right? And TM101 is Jeezy.
Okay.
My favorite song of my favorite album is Standing Ovation.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, he produced that.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
I was like, wow, like I actually got to work in studios and got to hang around with one of the guys that produced one of my favorite songs and one of my favorite albums of all time.
Right.
And that added credibility towards what I was doing, because it's like, wait, why is Drummer Boy hanging around with this Mexican kid?
Yeah.
Like, what's he
Right.
doing with him?
What's going on?
Was he like co-signing this kid? Was he a rapper? What is he? You know, and you know, one thing led to another, and I started, you know, making money doing parties and promoters, but I always saw music as a business, because I wanted to treat it as a business.
Right.
Like, I'm a firm believer that if you're gonna play the game, you got to play to win.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
just play to play, because if you play to play, you're gonna lose.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
10 times out of 10. So I was like, I'm playing to win. I'm playing to kind of, you know, reinvent myself. Like, I wanna do something here, not for money, but because I like to do it.
Right.
Because sometimes it's gonna take you being up till 4 or 5 in the morning to do something. If you're doing it for money, you're like, there's easier ways to make money.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you do it for the passion and for the love of it, the money doesn't matter. So, you know, the money's gonna come because your work is gonna show all the passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then COVID happened, and I was like, oh damn, this is not good. Like, what if this happens again?
Yeah.
Like my main source of income, which was like doing parties
Nobody
and
go outside.
you had to be 6 feet away from each other, right? So it's like I remember people going to the club with face masks on. I'm like, this is stupid, right? Like, damn, like they're still coming out, right? Like, so I was like, all right, I got to do something. And to me, that was a sign. I was like, I think I got to do something different because if I don't take this opportunity, I might miss the wave. My wave was music. Got it. People know me in Atlanta for the most part. You know, I'm not famous. I don't walk outside and people are like, oh, that's DJ Real. No, right? Unless I got my headphones on, I'm in a club, and then you're like, oh, that's that guy.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, okay, let me just shift into something different. And I heard the saying one time that a true entrepreneur reinvents themselves every 5 years. So if I look back at my life, from 19 to 24, I did something. From 24 to 29, I did another thing. And then right around 29, 30, I did another thing. I'm like, oh, now I'm starting to see patterns.
Oh, okay.
Got it. I'm like, I think it's time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, it's time. It was a big risk. But I got in the restaurants just because I had to pay my bills. Clubs were shut down, no parties, nothing. I was like, all right, I'm just trying to, not get my car repoed. I'm just trying to not get evicted. I don't qualify for PPP money because, I mean, how do you justify to the government I'm a DJ give me money to sustain like you picked a DJ, that's your fault.
Right, exactly.
You should have got a degree and got a regular job like everybody else. Then we give you some PPP money.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And I wasn't into that fraud stuff, so I was like, I'm definitely not going to do
that. Yeah.
We don't know how that went for everybody.
For a lot of people,
Still coming to get them right now.
Yeah, so I was like, nah, I'm just going to do it the right way. And I struggled, you know? And I started working as a bartender at a restaurant. Some guy that actually went to the clubs was like, hey, man, I got a job. I was like, I need one. Does it pay? It pays.
Okay.
How much? Not a lot. I just need enough.
Right.
That was it. End of conversation.
Right.
And I was very upfront and honest. I was like, look, I don't even know how to like make a drink. He was like, okay, cool. Show me how to pour a beer. And I did it the wrong way. And he's like, all right, you need help. I'm like, but I told you, I don't know anything. Just teach me.
Right.
Within a few months, I got the hang of it. But then towards like the middle of the process, I felt something. It was the same thing that I felt when I was 19 years old. And I decided that doing direct sales was how I was going to make money and prove to my mom that I could make a living, sustain myself without a college degree.
Right.
It's the same thing that I did in music. I was like, okay, I felt this thing, like I guess you could call it obsession, a very unhealthy obsession. Yeah. And I felt the same way about restaurants as I did about music and as I did about my previous business. And I was like, okay, I think I want to. That was weird.
I guess it just got blown down.
Energy.
The
fan blew down, but it's cool.
I don't know.
We'll keep it going.
But yeah, I was. I felt. I got obsessed about restaurants, and I was like, man, I just want to learn as much as I can. So I learned.
Right.
I learned about the proper procedures and how to pass health inspection, how to make food at scale. I mean, cooking for yourself is different than cooking for 500 people. Way
same
different.
thing,
yeah,
100 times in a row.
Yeah. So I learned how to do these things, and then I decided, okay, let me go out and do my own thing. And then we bought because I don't see the point of starting a restaurant from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, look, the success rate of opening up your own spot and making it past 5 years, and these aren't my numbers. This is the National Restaurant Association. These are people that went to school, they study these numbers, they took a look at how many restaurants open up every year, how many close every year. They say you have a 20% chance of making it past 5 years. So I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but like that math ain't mathing.
That ain't right.
So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do that. What's the other option? Buy an existing business that needs help, buy the owner out, and just make it better.
Right.
That was it.
So how did you end up? So I guess is the person that hired you for the other job, did they own that restaurant as well?
They own that restaurant, and I was like, hey man, I got this idea. He's like, well, good luck. I was like, no, I'm trying to partner up. He's like, well, not here. And I said, oh, okay, cool. So I have to go find my own opportunity.
Right. So who did you? I know you got a partner. So
I called him.
Oh, so you called him. All right. So let's go.
I didn't know any. I was like, okay, who do I know that's around my age that's in the restaurant business? And there's only one person that I knew. Right. Because I mean, the average restaurateur, they're like they're 50, they're 60.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually you get in restaurants after you made a lot of money, you're like, you know what? I'm going to open up a seafood spot.
Right.
I'm going to open up a brunch spot. I'm going to open up a cigar lounge.
Right.
We don't smoke cigars.
Right.
Like, if we're going to smoke something, it's not a cigar.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh,
Right,
I got you.
yeah. We're going to open up a hookah lounge or something like
Right.
that. That's cool to us, right?
Right.
Something that we love. So I said, okay, who do I call? So I call this guy, Damien. And I was like, hey, bro, I got this idea. And I knew him from the clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, cool. Started talking, and one thing led to another, and he's like, hey, I'll help you out. And I was like, well, like how? He's like, let's do it together. I said, okay, let's do it together, right? So then we started, we bought a little small restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The goal was just to double sales, and we doubled sales. We said, okay, cool. We learned that we had chemistry, we had the same business philosophy, we had the same upbringing, we laughed at the same dumb shit. Like, okay,
And you said
cool.
this was like a friend, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how did
yeah,
you
yeah.
know him?
Yeah, I just knew him from the clubs. And
Oh,
just
you knew him from the clubs.
by
Okay.
being around people, He's like a self-made guy that I knew of. And I was like, okay, he makes good decisions.
Right.
I think
That's
like
it.
sometimes like what you wear, how you pull up somewhere, where you live, it represents a lot of the decisions you make.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you can just kind of tell. And I was like, look, this guy makes good decisions for the
Right.
most part,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And then we started working together, and then Real Tacos came around.
Mm.
So we said, okay, we did very well. Sometimes when you hear about business partnerships, it doesn't always go well.
Right.
That's so you got to be weary of that when you go into business with somebody. But with this guy, I was like, man, we're like, it feels like I've known you forever,
Right.
right? Like it's funny because like everything you hate to do, I love to do, and
Exactly.
everything I hate to do, you love to do. So if you put us together, and we're a transformer, we'd be a badass transformer.
Right.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're like, okay, cool. And we bought Real Tacos, and then we put all of our eggs in that basket. And then the goal over there was just to like double sales. That's all we wanted to do,
Right.
just double sales.
And that's important to say because first of all, partnerships, that's a whole nother thing. We're gonna talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But just being able to find someone when you do partnerships, find someone or find people when you are trying to build something that do the things that you don't like to do instead of trying to strengthen those weaknesses.
Yeah. Don't. Why would you try to get good at something you're not good at? Like that is just the universe telling you suck at this.
Right.
Like if I suck at math, okay, there's a certain level of comprehension I have to have of math.
Right.
Like as long as you can count to like 10, I think you can get away with like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't understand
Calculators.
taxes very well, but I know that okay, in order for me to understand taxes and the tax code, I can either spend 4 years of my life trying to understand this, so I could save myself $5,000 a year or $10,000 a year,
Right.
or I could just pay somebody who did all this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just makes more sense, right? So stick to what I'm good at. I'm good with people.
Right.
I'm good with moving people with my words, right? And also like showing the right examples. I'm not that good at building shit.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Damien's good at building stuff.
You know what? Guys, listen. I'm so happy that you are tuning into the podcast. As you all know, I'm Mr. Mindset, and you know that I do wholesaling real estate. I've been doing it at a high level for a while now. So what I'm doing is I'm giving out strategies on how you can do the same. Guys, I have an ebook out. I have an ebook called 4 Steps to Make 6 Figures in 6 Months with little to no money in wholesaling real estate. Guys, get the book. The link will be in the description. Go get that. And guess what? It also comes with another book, The Perfect Mindset, 7 Thought Patterns that can take you from stress to success. Guys, both of these books will change your lives. I promise. Because if you have the right mindset and you're able to apply that mindset to something, and this something will be wholesaling real estate, you will change you and your family lives. Go get it. It's only $20. Let's do it. Now that I think about it, because you built the reputation for yourself with the DJ business, but even with the other business, where you were doing the direct sales,
Yeah.
that's they already have a structure in place for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like, so you're pretty much like, it's kind of like you're almost like, well, you're an entrepreneur, but it's like you're an entrepreneur. If it's already in place, you could actually run it up to the moon.
I'm lazy smart.
Yeah.
Like I'm lazy enough to know that if I don't want to do certain things, I just follow the system.
Right.
And I just teach other people the system. And then I take myself out of the equation and you let the system run itself.
Right. So I know I was watching, I heard one thing, I don't know if it's true or not, right? Which I'm pretty sure it is. You guys bought Real Tacos back in, when did you buy?
2021.
2021. and you guys increased sales by 1,000%.
1,000%.
Yeah. So the business before was doing it. People were like 1,000%. Like, you're stupid. Like, no. Like, I'll show you the P&Ls. I'll show you the numbers. When we took over the restaurant, its best year was before COVID. 2019, it did $1.2 million. It's best year.
Was it with one location?
They only had one location.
Okay.
Yeah. There wasn't a second, or third, or fifth one.
Okay.
And last month we did $2 million in sales. Well, we kissed almost 2 million. You know.
In a month.
In a month, not a year.
Not a year.
Not a year. So you go from doing on average, anywhere between 90 to 100,000 a month to almost doing 2 million a month. So I mean, just do those numbers. Like,
What does that process look like for you to even get to that point? Obviously, I know you guys open. If anybody knows about Real Tacos, they obviously got multiple locations now. But how did that even start? Like, what was that process look? What did that process look like?
You couldn't find it on social media. There was no bar. I mean, their alcohol sales were like nothing. Right now, our alcohol sales in our original location, just the alcohol sales. Okay, they do more than what the restaurant did in combined.
That's crazy.
When we
Wow.
just going like this, and going like this. we sell more than what the restaurant used to do, right? And that's just the first location.
Yeah.
The other ones, like, they didn't exist, right? So it didn't exist in social media. There weren't a lot of procedures in place. The food was good, right? But the structure maybe wasn't there to be able to handle the sales that it's doing right now.
Right.
So we kind of have to build the machine. Build the machine is, okay, have a way in which everybody operates. Have a chain of command. Have a backup plan for if this messes up. There was not a lot of things like that. And then the vibe. Creating a space to where people wanted to come in and just literally give you their money.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer, and I said this earlier to somebody. I was talking to somebody, and we're talking about energy. I'm like, yeah, you paint the walls with energy, and people feel that. Right in the back of the house, people are making your food. You gotta radiate that energy, because when you're making something with your hands, like, I'm very metaphysical, so I think that sometimes that energy kind of transpires to the people that are gonna eat that food.
Right.
So you gotta make it with good intentions. You don't have to make it with love, but just with good intentions. I hope they like this taco. Or if I'm getting paid $15 an hour, I just hope they don't give it back. So I hope I don't have to make it again.
Right.
I hope I made it well enough to where they eat this and they pay for it.
Right. That's it.
That's it. We're not asking for much.
And a lot of people, I guess you're saying think about stuff in a simple way. A lot of people just overthink. Do you think so? A lot of people overthink a lot of things. It's like you're a simple thinker. Like, you literally think about, it's like common sense.
Like an executor.
Yeah, well, like, common sense is business sense.
For sure.
I heard this one time. It was funny. And they said common sense is like deodorant. The people that need it the most use it the least.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, common sense is business sense. Like, if something's broken in your restaurant, you should fix it. You should not wait. If there's a leak, call the plumber. Don't wait until there's a puddle of water. People wait till there's a puddle of water, and then somebody falls, and then you get sued. And you're like, shit, I could, that's just an example of like how you need to run your business.
Yeah.
Right. If your goal is to grow, well, hold off on getting that Ferrari. Don't get it right now.
Right.
Don't get the house right now. Open up a couple more restaurants, right?
Right.
That you should do that. So it's just like a lot of these things are just kind of like, hey, just it's very simple-minded, very like just stick to one ideal.
Right.
Don't get too scatterbrained. Don't go this, and because that's what people do sometimes. I see a lot of people that they get in the restaurant business, and their first business goes well, and then they go, you know what? Now I'm gonna open up an ice cream shop. Like, how do you go from burgers to ice cream? If you did burgers and ice cream in the same place, just to make that one business better, okay, cool. Like, why would you go from doing, I don't know, seafood to doing Chinese cuisine, and you have no idea what the hell you're doing? Like, why would you do that? No, I'm going to show people what? That you can do anything? Okay, that's cool, but I'm just trying to make money.
Right, that's it.
Like, I'm just trying to take care of my family.
And when y'all bought a Real Tacos, did y'all know y'all were gonna like 10x the restaurant, or did y'all like
that was always the goal?
That was always the goal.
We figured, okay, there's two guys that are, not the smartest, but we're not stupid, and we have very similar experience in our previous businesses. And we said, okay, 2 idiots are better than one. All right, let's go, right?
Right.
And I say this like lovingly because, you know, obviously my business partner knows he's not an idiot.
Right.
He's by far one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life.
Right.
Like, he teaches me to this day. He's younger than I am.
Mm.
And then, like, if you guys think I'm crazy, this guy's like off the wall. Like, he's on another level, right?
For sure.
But he's the reason why we've gotten to where we are now. You know, like half of the decisions that have been made is strategy, and then the other half has been with our gut. So, you know, picking the right location is important because, you know, they say location. He's the one that's like, hey, look, if we go to the plate and we hit a home run with this, we live to see another year. If at any given moment, going from location number 1 to location number 2, we pick the wrong spot, and he's the one that picked the spot, the momentum just goes down. The energy just goes down. The confidence level is like, wow. So going from location number 1 to where we are now, we've had to hit a home run every time.
So right now, you guys are at pretty much at 5. You guys are at 5 locations.
Officially 5 locations. We have our 6th one that we already signed the lease for. We started our first build out from scratch in downtown Lawrenceville. So that's set to open early 2024.
Wow. So
And what does that look like?
finna say.
Startup costs? Because I know you said you signed the lease, you got a build out going on. So
Yeah.
what does the upfront initial cost look like
Man,
going into that?
we don't even know. I think signing that lease is like the dumbest thing we could have ever done. We just did it. It was a tax strategy, right? I mean, Uncle Sam can't tax you on what you didn't make, right?
That's true.
That's why
Yeah.
people buy, you know, something on Section 179. That's why they invest money in their businesses, right? Because if you made $0, if you show a net loss at the end of the year, you get a pass. You're playing Monopoly, right? What's Uncle Sam gonna get on 0? Nothing. Okay, cool. Right? You actually get incentivized to stimulate the economy. Now, here's the thing: if you invest all your money that you make to make yourself more money in the future, well, in the future, Uncle Sam says, "Hey, well, I got you next year."
Right.
Okay, cool. Well, if you have the right tax strategy, well, next year's never going to come. That's why they say that rich people never pay taxes.
Yeah.
They always divert their money and invest their money in other stuff. And then
Wow.
eventually you're like, you know what? All right, after 30 years of evading taxes the right way,
Yeah.
you can't just not pay taxes. Right? You're just going to end up in jail.
Right.
Right? Then you're like, okay, get me this time. But by that time, you got to pay 3 or 5 or 10 million or whatever amount of taxes.
Right.
You're not going to care because you're cash flowing $100 million plus. Like what's $10 million when you're making $100 million a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're definitely not making that right now, but I mean that's the goal.
Right.
And if people are like, well, that's too big of a goal, like we're not playing to play, we're playing to win.
Okay. So pretty much, so obviously you guys are, taxes are super important, guys. I hope you guys pick that up,
Yeah.
right? This is very important to hear what
Yeah.
he's saying right
Yeah.
now. I don't want it to go over you guys' heads, so understand that just making sure, not saying don't pay your taxes, please pay your taxes, but if you do it the right way, you can mitigate the amount of taxes that you have to pay,
Definitely.
right? But, so what is the importance of, I know you got a partner, right? And this seems very important. I really am an advocate for partners. Like, what is the importance of having a right partnership or finding the right partner in your business?
It's just like being in a relationship. I think that when you're in a business partnership, it's intimate because I mean, you know, my name and his name is on every lease that we have.
Right.
Every time we get an alcohol license, I know what's on his background. He knows what's on my background.
Right.
Like just yesterday, we went to the federal building. This just happened yesterday, right? We went to the federal building to get this letter that says that we check out in the United States government says that we haven't done anything, which means that I'm definitely not a terrorist. I'm not on any sort of blacklist.
Right.
I'm a model citizen, and by being a model citizen, they will give me an alcohol license.
Wow.
All right, so it's like, oh shit, you gotta know everything about each other. So if you're with a toxic person, let's say, right?
Right.
Say you're with the, I don't know, with a female that just, you know, is always nagging on this and that. It's gonna wear you down. Eventually, you're like, look, I don't want to do this. And sometimes people, when they get into business, it's like getting into bed with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, think about it. If I do something stupid right now, or tomorrow, or at any given moment, I jeopardize not just my life, but I jeopardize his life and everyone else's life. So I have to really reconsider what decisions I make.
Right.
So I can't get into business with somebody that's just an idiot.
Yeah.
What do you consider an idiot? Just doing stupid shit.
Right.
Like, why would you go out and drink and drive? Why would you go and say stupid stuff on social media? Why would you post your feelings? And these are things that you probably tell a girl. That's like the definition of being toxic.
Yeah.
Just don't find a toxic business partner.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And that's one thing I know I always say important, because first of all, just thinking about what you're saying, which I pretty much tell people too, and BJ is an advocate for this as well. It's just like, dude, I say it's important to get a business partner, like you said, because it just keeps you from doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, you can do it if it's depending on you. Like, you'll make a bad decision. But if I'm like, all right, I know I'm gonna hurt BJ if I do this, I'm like, all right, I can't do it.
Exactly.
I can't do it because it just won't make no sense, and it just put a little bit more accountability on you, right?
Yeah.
And just being able to put some more pressure on you.
Yeah. So
Now-
look, you asked me about the cost, right? I can't tell you what the cost of building that first restaurant is gonna be. It could be $1 million, it could be more, it could be less, but we're already thinking in our mind, it'll probably be, if it's $1 million, oh, that's a win.
Right, 'cause y'all do,
yeah, it's good, If it's less than that, even better.
Yeah, right.
Right? If it's above that, we're like, okay, because normally when you open up a restaurant, you're like, oh, it's gonna be $500,000. No, add $250 to that.
Yeah.
Right? You do your floor, you're like, it's gonna be 30, it's gonna be 60.
Right.
I don't care what you think.
So you always overestimate.
And that's what you
like,
should do.
expensive.
And that's the same thing in real estate overall. Like when we flipping houses and stuff like that.
Yeah,
with us,
yeah,
it's just
you
like,
guys
bro,
know it.
yeah, for sure, it's the same thing,
Yeah.
bro. You think it's gonna be this much, it's gonna be way more than you thought. Oh my god,
We flipped the property and we were like, yeah, what we say this is gonna cost like 30. We was like, it's gonna cost like 30,000.
3 months later, I said, we need
100.
50,000.
Yeah. now you guys are in real estate, right?
Yeah.
You guys flip homes, okay? So watch. So our strategy is this. Eventually, we're gonna have to write a book about this, okay?
Yeah, you got it.
And I'm really not giving off anything that is not gonna work for people, because it's worked for us.
Right.
So our strategy is the following. It's okay. You find a spot that's already built out. Okay, they're called second generation restaurants. With homes, it's like a home that's previously been lived in.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the most expensive part about building a restaurant is not the infrastructure. It's not the hood system. It's not the beautiful bar. It's the time.
Right.
And what I mean by that is like the time it takes to get this permit and that permit and this one and that one. And then once you get the permit, then you can build. Then you got to build. And then usually they mess it all up. And then you got to do it all over again. It's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the time. It's okay. So if you take on a project that's going to take you a year to build and $1 million, well, it's $1 million plus a year of your time. What is your time worth? Okay, it's probably worth more than $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so you tack on the amount of capital it took plus your time. You can't just say, okay, cool, I'm just gonna invest $1 million in a restaurant and invest my time. Oh, how are you gonna pay your bills? Keep in mind, you just spend money to open this place that's not making money just yet.
Not making no money right now.
And your time, and you still got to find a way to put money, in your bank account. Or the other route is buying a restaurant that's already in business, that maybe isn't for sale, but everything's got a price. Okay, everything's got a price, right? You buy that business, and as long as you don't do anything structural, because if you start breaking walls and tearing shit down, okay, you got to get a permit. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're just painting walls and remodeling and doing some very simple stuff, you don't got to get a permit. Now, if you start breaking concrete, you need a permit.
Right.
Okay. We learned that the hard way. Right? you need a permit, right? But if you do very simple things, hey, in 30 days,
We need a permit. You had to stop working one
yeah.
time.
They put a sign on our
Saying,
window.
stop working. I said, oh, yeah, you need a permit.
Yeah. So they were like, okay, you can just kind of like flip a restaurant. You take the sign down, you put yours up. You need a permit for that, right? So you get that permit first, right? Then you put the sign, and then and you just paint some walls and take everything down from the old restaurant and boom, and do with that, and change over all the bills. Call Georgia Power. Call whatever phone provider you got. Hey, it's whatever Jose's Tacos. Yeah, they're out of business. Yeah, it's Real Tacos now. Got it. Okay, cool. Put your bank account in there, and then within 30 days or 60 days, whatever, how quickly you can do that conversion, then you got Real Tacos, right?
There
So it's
you
like,
go.
okay, you still got what you wanted. You still opened up a restaurant, but you did it in a very different manner. Even if it does cost you $1 million, you save 10 months worth of time. So our quickest
It's my
conversion,
time, yeah.
it's time.
Yeah.
So the West Midtown location and Northside Drive, we did it in 28 days while running and operating the other restaurants we had. Our fastest turnaround has been our most recent location that we opened up, which is in Cumming. We did that in 10 days.
Shit.
It was ready to go. Yeah. So,
That's crazy.
Yeah. So July 13th last month was our first official day of Real Tacos. and we just took over the existing business. Of course, there were people that are like, "Oh, I used to like that other place." Well, that other place was gonna probably go out of business either way. So
yeah, it didn't matter.
we did you a favor.
We did you a favor. We just helped you out, right?
And now they're like, "Oh, this taco's pretty good." Like, yeah. You know,
definitely.
And that's our strategy. It's like, why would you open up a place from scratch and go through the whole process? Like, I think people do that sometimes now, because with social media, you want to show everybody what you're doing. Like, look, today I lay concrete. Look, today we dug up the dirt to put in the grease trap. Look, today we did the light fixtures, and it becomes this big journal, this big diary. And you're like, damn, you're still not done yet? Like, you're still on that?
I live in Riverdale, and I drive past, like, restaurants every day that they're closed out of business, and it's like, may have had a fire in the back or something. They're just, like, not up and running. So it's like, it makes total sense to go ahead and just get
something that's
already operational business that's already producing cash flow and making it better.
Exactly. Well, if you're in real estate, are you going to say, hey, I like that piece of dirt over there. Let me build the home. Or do you go, I like that house. It looks a little dinged up, but if we just put a door on there.
Just put a door on there.
Yeah.
That's it.
How much would they pay? Yeah.
Exactly.
Or how much are they paying already?
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody wants a vacant home.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood.
You gotta
Nobody
estimate the numbers and everything.
Yeah. Like, you think a landlord wants an empty business? No, because it just scares everybody off, right?
Right.
Do them a favor. Hey, how long has this place been closed for? A few months. I'm willing to pay rent. How much? Okay, cool. What's inside? Okay, perfect. You see how you assess the damage, you see how much, okay, it might take this, it might take that. And that's our strategy right now. They got to the point now to where we're looking for corners that we like. Of course, we do our research. We know for the most part what our customer is and where they come from, you know. But that's our move, you know. And I say it was a dumb decision, or maybe not a dumb decision, but like not the best decision to do it from scratch. But I don't think you can call yourself a restaurateur if you've never done one from scratch.
Right.
I think that was the first and last time that we ever do that.
Yeah.
And the other 20 restaurants we open up, they're going to be that second generation flip. Boom, go in there. We know we can do one every 90 days. So you got enough time in the year to do 4.
Right. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Guys, listen. I'm so happy that you are tuning into the podcast. As you all know, I'm Mr. Mindset, and you know that I do wholesaling real estate. I've been doing it at a high level for a while now. So what I'm doing is I'm giving out strategies on how you can do the same. Guys, I have an ebook out. I have an ebook called 4 Steps to Make 6 Figures in 6 Months with little to no money in wholesaling real estate. Guys, get the book. The link will be in the description. Go get that. And guess what? It also comes with another book, The Perfect Mindset, 7 Thought Patterns that can take you from stress to success. Guys, both of these books will change your lives. I promise. Because if you have the right mindset and you're able to apply that mindset to something, and this something will be wholesaling real estate, you will change you and your family lives. Go get it. It's only $20. Let's do it. So, I mean, it obviously seems like you all the stuff you're doing, it seems like you're a really busy guy, right? And it seems like you work really hard. But how does that work? Obviously, you have a family. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
You are married, okay, and you have I know I seen you
3 kids.
3 kids.
Yeah.
So how does that balance out if you're owning a very, very successful business? This is a company. It's not just a restaurant. This is a company.
Yeah.
You're running a very successful company. You and your partner run a very successful company. How are you managing your time and being able to be there for your family, or do they miss you sometimes? Are you gone a lot?
I mean, if you want the real answer, there's no balance.
That's true.
If you're playing to win, you play to win at all costs. I mean, and I hate to like scare people away that, hey, you know, you're gonna miss birthdays and you're gonna miss this. Okay, well, I mean, you're gonna have to sacrifice something.
Yep.
And if you're gonna sacrifice something meaningful, make sure it's worth it.
yeah.
I miss my kids. I miss going to the gym sometimes. I miss all this stuff, right? And I don't have to get emotional about it. I'm just like, damn, it sucks. Yeah, on my birthday, for the past 3 years, I've been working my birthday.
Yeah.
It's just another day. They're all the same. They all end in Y.
Yeah.
Right?
They all end in Y.
Bro, this past Christmas, you remember Pipe Mageddon? Mm-hmm. When all the pipes burst?
Yep.
Okay, well, I came up with that name, and then they reposted it on ATL Scoop. My friend runs ATL Scoop.
Oh, wow.
And then it's Pipe Mageddon, right? So I get a phone call. And then it was a property manager from the Midtown location. Like, hey, your restaurant's flooded. I'm like, there's no way. Like, yeah. And I start seeing ATL Scoop. I'm like, oh, shit. All the pipes are bursting. I'm like, Pipe Mageddon. Right? Like Armageddon, right? So I get to the restaurant. There's water everywhere. I'm like, all right, this is going to cause a lot of damage. Fortunately, we got insurance and stuff like that. And I remember December 25th, I had a squeegee from the kitchen. It was just me. I was trying to squeegee as much water as I could out so that it would minimize
The damage.
And then eventually the water stopped flowing. And I was like, oh, that's a good sign. Well, no, it's actually because it was like 27 degrees. The water froze.
Oh, that's even
I
worse.
was like, it bought me time
but
to get a plumber to come in the next day. So I'll never forget that. December 25th, when I should have been unwrapping presents. When I should have been, being Santa Claus for my daughter. When I should have been not at the restaurant, I was at the restaurant. And I wasn't obligated. I mean, my partners could have been there, but one was an hour away with his family. The other one was like 30 minutes away. And I just happened to be the one that was the closest. So I got an obligation. Because if I don't take care of the business, how am I going to take care of my family?
Yeah.
So sometimes people go, oh, you got to have balance. And what about vacation? And I'll be honest, I hate vacations.
I do. I ain't gonna care. I do not. We know this. Every time we go out of town, we come back, something wrong with the business. I be like, I do not want to go.
Or if the business is running smooth, I mean, like, I really love what I do.
Yeah.
Why would you put me on a beach in Miami, take me away from what I love to do? My body's gonna be over there, but my mind's over here. Even if the business is running right, we're over here doing this podcast. My phone's not ringing off the hook like, oh, this broke, all that broke. No, it's going good. Like, I can't wait to get back to work. Like, I can't wait to go back in there and be like, what can I do? How can I help?
Right.
Let me clean the table.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Like, I do it every day. I think if you find something you love to do every single day, there is no days off. You love to do it. You'll find a way to make everything work. So if I want to go to the park with my daughter, I'll go to the park with my daughter. I don't have to ask anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I know the downtimes of the park.
Right.
Go between like 12 and 3 because most of the kids are in daycare.
Yeah.
Or they're in school. Right? If I want to take my son to whatever practice, I don't have to like, hey, boss, can I? No. I work for myself. So like, yeah, sometimes there's the opposite end of what balance is, which is no balance. But you also have the liberty and the freedom to come and go as you please.
Right. That's true.
I think that comes with not having balance.
For sure, and that's very true. I have a question. Do you ever feel guilty about missing those days?
No, because if I feel guilty, then I didn't make the right decision.
It made you. You
It's
said it
not like
already.
he's BSing, like when he's like missing time from family and stuff. It's
Oh,
like he's
yeah.
actually handling business.
Yeah,
Right.
like I'm thinking like, okay, I missed this and I missed that. Cool, but whenever my daughter gets her first car and we go to the dealership,
I'm gonna get
she gets to pick the car. The car doesn't pick you because most people, you're a reflection of the decisions you make. Your zip code is a reflection of the decisions you make. The car you drive is, and they don't realize that sometimes the zip code picks you. Why? If I want to get this house, but I want the one that costs $1 million, unfortunately, I don't qualify for the one for $1 million. I got to stick with the $300,000 house next to all the trap houses. Like, okay, why are you stuck there? You go to the car dealership, you're like, I want that car. Well, wait. Your credit tells you got to get this one. What's your down payment? Your down payment says you get this one. Well, Toyota it is.
Yeah.
And driving a Ferrari.
Yeah, for sure,
Right?
for sure.
So it's like you gotta, but then you start. That's when you start thinking, damn, how did I get to this? And you start, in hindsight, you're like, I should have made better decisions with my time. So I don't want to, I don't think money's everything, but I think money's a tool. I don't want to tell my kids we can't get this because your dad didn't figure out a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even about work. Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things. I just don't want to have to tell my kids no.
Yeah.
Because of money.
Yeah.
Like I do not. That's the one reason why it shouldn't be no because I didn't, like I said, didn't make the right decision. It was because of money. I don't want that to be. You had a question though?
No, I was just about to say, I kind of wanted to like just dive a little bit back more into like the business side. Because I know you said everything basically like that you hate to do, your partner, he's good at it or likes to do. So how does that kind of look like for you and him? Like what's some of the responsibilities that you take on? And then what's some of the responsibilities that you delegate on to him?
So when the business finally became big enough for us to be able to say, okay, this is a legit business. And to me, not to knock anyone's hustle down, but like if your business is not crossing the $5 to $10 million mark in revenue, I think you need to work on making it and solidifying it into a real business. That's when you can have real titles. That's when you can have a CEO, a COO, a CFO. Like, I mean, once it got to that point, we said, okay, what are you good at, and what job do you want to stick to, and then whatever other things the business has to do, we'll give it off to somebody else. So he's a great leader. He's a great strategist. And I was like, bro, you're definitely the CEO. Like, there's no ego in this game. I think that ego kills a lot of people's like, trajectory sometimes. I'm like, you're definitely the guy. Right? I listen to you. You know, just like people listen to me. I'm like, you're the CEO. I'm like, what? Operation-wise, I love being in there. I love getting my hands dirty. He does too.
Yeah.
I'm more of the people person. So
Yeah.
operations, it deals with structure, systems, and people. I'm the COO. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
All right. So then I decided to be the one that deals with the people, and he's the one that builds the restaurants and strategizes, right? And that's how we kind of work that. So I deal with the day-to-day stuff, anything that's going on. I mean, just in general, like there's different sets of problems every single day. It's a restaurant business.
Yeah.
Whatever happened today is not gonna happen tomorrow. Whatever broke today is probably not gonna break tomorrow.
Yeah.
Something else is gonna break. So I gotta figure out a way to see through that the restaurant keeps running.
Okay.
So yeah, I deal with that, and then he deals with all the other side of managing the books and the capital and how we're gonna open up the next location. And we have a corporate headquarters in Sandy Springs. He deals with the accounting team. You know, our deal is I make sure that we can meet our projections and hit the sales and hit our revenue goals. And he spends it all. And he makes sure that we keep growing.
Yeah, keep growing.
That makes sense.
Keep growing. We're gonna hit.
That's a
hit
good
those
partnership.
projections.
That's a good partnership.
So
good balance.
I keep the people happy, and he's gonna make us rich.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the way it works.
Okay.
And what
okay.
are some of those projections? If you could like just share some more, like just some estimates.
Yeah, we want to hit $100 million in revenue, which we can do that. Our average restaurant does about $4.5 to $5 million. So we're at 5 locations right now, and we just chip away and open 15 more, which we can do them every 90 days. So if we do one restaurant every 3 months, we can open up another 15 in the next 5 years. Just cruising at the way that we're going right now.
Is there a realistic thing that you guys could hit, like open a new restaurant every 90 days?
We have been. So I'm just giving you like factual data. Like this is what we've done.
That's crazy.
So if we only continue doing what we already have been doing, and the hard part was in the very beginning, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now that we actually know what we're doing and we have a direction, we said, okay, we just chip away at this. We can have 20 restaurants, like 20 boxes that produce $5 million in revenue. But at that point, you're doing $100 million in revenue. Well, now you're, obviously you have profit. And your profit is your EBITDA, okay? And for a restaurant in certain industries, whether it's like sushi or whether it's fine dining, they have specific valuations. Right now, taco restaurants, the taco concept is one of the hottest concepts in the U.S.
Taco Tuesday.
And it's Taco Tuesday. It's like an unofficial holiday, right? And they're reaching certain multiples on their EBITDA. So I know I've heard of, for example, Bar Taco. You guys ever been there before?
I ain't been there.
Okay, Bar Taco. In 2018, they got acquired for $325 million cash. There's 4 guys.
Damn.
They got,
some good money.
Look at that. Say like I would not be here.
Right. Check this out. The following year, the same concept, Bar Taco got acquired for $650 million.
Wow.
Okay.
You guys gonna sell?
I mean,
Not yet. I'm not. If it comes.
I mean, everything's got a price.
Everything's got a price.
Right.
Yeah.
But the way that we structured our business is 100% employee owned.
Mm.
We don't have investors. We don't have any debt. We only grow with profits. So whatever we make today, we're gonna save it, put it in a little piggy bank, and when the time comes around, we're like, all right, we're gonna get that little spot. Boom.
Yeah.
We're not going to the bank. We're not drafting. Bro, we've done this with no business plan.
Fuck, that's not.
Yeah.
We don't have
follow
a business
somebody.
plan.
Dang, that's crazy.
The business plan is get up at 5 a.m, go to the office, and figure out what we got to do.
That's crazy.
We've done it with no
Just
business
solve
plan.
problems.
Yeah, the moment the bank says, "Hey, what's your business plan?" I'm gonna show them our sales growth since we started. I'm gonna show them our bank account. I'm like, that's our business plan,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
we're growing.
You get people that go, "Oh, I have a business plan," and they're like, "Okay, give me a proof of concept." Well, if it works, no, that doesn't work. Like, I'll show you the bank right now. That's the proof of concept.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a business plan, right? Like,
So if you have like 20 locations, and what you said is that would they be bringing in $100 million profit or
Right,
revenue?
revenue.
So revenue, how much would that just whole organization or franchise? How much would that be worth? Like
Profit.
bringing in $100 million revenue.
I mean,
100 million revenue. That's
you can probably. I mean, at that point, you're considered a unicorn. You're like, oh, that's. I mean, Slutty Vegan got a $100 million valuation. with I think like 2 restaurants and a couple food trucks.
They have like 2.
Yeah. So they actually got an 8x multiple on their revenue. They didn't get it on EBITDA. They got it. They said, okay, this thing is very different. Like, and the slutty vegan concept is very unique. Only 2% of the population is vegan. I was like, wow, you were able to pump out those numbers with people that eat grass. Like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are special.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Real Tacos, it's like, oh wow, you guys are doing those numbers. Damn, the average restaurant does 5 million. Holy shit. Damn, you guys are different. Okay. How many little Atlantas are there? And Atlanta's not little, but how many Atlantas are there all over the country? You got Miami, you got New York, you got all over the West Coast, you got Texas, you got, man, how many little midtowns are there in every city?
Yeah.
How many West midtowns are there in the country?
Yeah.
How many Chambleys are there? Because I met you guys at Chambly.
Yeah.
How many little pockets like that are there in Georgia? There's so many, right? So at that point, then you go, okay, cool. Maybe you might be worth 10, 20x, 30x.
Damn.
It's
Yeah.
like you're not
That's
even
crazy.
hitting that, but you're worth. You could sell it for that much. That's
For sure.
crazy.
Yeah,
I probably got one last question, right? It's for advice for me and BJ, right? I'm married, right? So it's just like this, right? I know you're working all the time. How do you explain to your wife? 'Cause I know she catches the attitude sometimes when you be working now, all the time. So how do you be like, hey, relax? How do you get that through to her? Like, hey, I'm doing this for a bigger reason, a bigger purpose. Like, I understand you want to be with me right now, but how do you explain to her that hey, this is a bigger purpose? So how do
Man, it's just the same thing I did when I walked in here. You get your phone, you put it on silent. You just
I want you to watch this. And I'm silent and say, I'll talk to you later when I get home.
Because I deal with that now, so I'm like,
Bro, you go in airplane mode, bro. I'm flying high. I can't. I'm sorry. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's not. It's just like, all right. Sometimes it's just, all right. We're not gonna see each other. A few days, whatever. Just not gonna talk. All right. Better for me. I get to focus.
That's a great attitude.
Yeah, you gotta be unapologetic,
life
bro.
stuff.
Yeah, you gotta be unapologetic, right?
Yeah.
My mom, she'll call me and it'll be sometimes weeks, and I'm like, hey, mom, I was busy. She's like, no, but I'm your mom. I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to
Buy you something.
I'm trying to retire you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like my kids will call me. It's my son's first day. He lives in Texas. And it was his first day and he called me and I was like, I gotta call you back. I'm on a conference call,
Yeah.
And then I called him back and I asked him how his first day went. And he was like, oh, it was cool. Got it. Right?
That's it. Yeah.
So sometimes you can't, if you got shit to do, just take care of business and then go take care of your family.
That's what I believe in.
you gotta think
And
they got
y'all
something
hear-
to brag about now. So they like, my dad, he does this, and this.
Yeah,
and then
for
I'm
sure.
sure it's the same way with the wife. She's like, my husband does this, and this.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's what they want to see. But I mean, hey, this been a heck of an episode. Like, really enjoyed it. This has been a lot. Now, we do have one thing, right? Before we leave, we always judge this episode at the beginning of the week, right?
Then we have to ask him something.
Oh, we're gonna ask them.
All right. I'm ready.
I got you. But we always judge this at the beginning of the week.
Okay.
So we always want to give them something. So we call it give them something that they can actually take and put into action this week that could actually bring them some success
Got it.
immediately. Give them something they can take into the week.
Man. I'm thinking.
He been dropping so much. I mean, he really don't have to say nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. I want to, something that I do, maybe, I got one.
Give it to him. Let's see.
Work. How can I put this? Okay. I heard Muhammad Ali, like his philosophy of training. His philosophy of training was run so hard until you feel like, when you're running so much, you run out of spit and you're like, I got sandpaper.
Yeah.
He's like, get used to that feeling.
Mm.
He's like, run so hard to the point to where you feel like your legs are about to break. And just keep running. Right? So it's like, okay, now like I'm on this like personal quest of like, I'm gonna do things until they hurt. Okay? Like I'm gonna look at reports until they just make my eyes bleed. Go to like just an unhealthy extreme. I'm not gonna die.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I would challenge people to do, hey, just do something that's extremely uncomfortable. Not sort of uncomfortable, something that you're like, man, this sucks. Like this really sucks. Like I should not be doing this right now. But what happens if I get used to this? What happens if I get used to taking a cold shower, right? And this could be 100 different things that people could do.
Yeah.
Like find something that makes you extremely uncomfortable and make it normal. Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna just start changing your mentality. People are gonna look at you like, damn, you're fucking crazy. All right? So that's what I would say. Like do something that makes you a little different than somebody else. Because when you look back at it, people are gonna say, wow, They were different. They were just yeah.
That's what you want to be. You
Yeah.
want to be different. Man, you heard it here yourselves, guys. Now, we got one more thing, right? And
Yeah.
we're going to ask you on the podcast because you have no choice but to say yes on the camera. Because
Got
we
it.
say no, you're
Why
going
would
to
you
answer.
say that?
I'm a yes man.
Right?
Come on.
These guys never tried real tacos.
Ooh,
We need to come there tonight.
got you.
Sis, where you gonna? What location?
I'm
you
gonna be at either Midtown or at the coming location. Who knows?
I'll
Just
text
hit me
you.
up.
I'll
Yeah.
text you. It's gonna be after this, after our next episode, our next
Yeah,
guest.
Chambly or something. Yeah,
I'm gonna text you and we coming.
Let's do it.
And then we're gonna get some good footage and we're gonna put it inside the podcast to get you some
Love it.
promotion.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, bro.
Let's do it. Hey,
This
look.
show's amazing.
Where they at?
Hey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. We're giving you guys some great game. And please, guys, not please. I mean, you guys want to support us? Hey, leave us a super chat. Just do whatever you got to do. But please just make sure you go over to our other platforms if you're on YouTube. And I mean, if you're on YouTube, go to other platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us 5 stars, say something nice. Move us up those charts. And follow me on Instagram at _Mr.Mindset. And if you follow me, you see all the stuff I got to offer. I ain't even got to tell you. BJ.
Hey, y'all go follow me at _BJ Real. And enough of that, man.
Hold on,
Y'all
man.
go follow the podcast.
Yeah.
Y'all go like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us. We're on Instagram at _on the porch. But what you have for Mike?
What can they find you at? That's why.
Yeah,
Besides,
yeah.
I know you put the business out there first. So
Yeah,
you give them
yeah,
both.
yeah.
You give them both.
I still use my my DJ handle, which is DJ Real _ATL. Follow me right there, and you'll see everything.
All right, cool. And then you guys go follow Real Tacos and make sure you're tasting it. If you see this video, you're going to see the little inserts of us eating at the restaurant, giving y'all a nice review
Yeah.
tonight. So, man, we greatly appreciate it. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Peace. Man, that was a great episode.
Appreciate it.
JT on the track again.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.